Hello everyone and welcome to I See Bad Movies. I'm one of your hosts, Dave Keane, and tonight I am joined by the deserted sandy tropical Emma Spicer.
Hi. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Just trying to fit some form of description of you into the movie title that we're watching as well. So
Yeah, I'm not sure it worked, but
yeah, I don't think it worked.
no.
To be honest, though, I hadn't actually given it any thought until I started doing it. So
yeah, that came across.
yeah. But what I'll do is I'll cut out the gaps and make it seem like it was seamless. And
You won't though. You say that, but you won't.
You'd be surprised how many of the gaps I cut out.
Yeah, I know you cut the gaps out, but you. Yeah, okay.
But, and I do also go through and take out some of the absolute bump. It's more me than you.
Okay.
Because I repeat myself a lot. I don't know why I repeat myself a lot.
But you do repeat yourself.
But I do repeat myself a lot. I find myself starting a sentence and then I'll start the same sentence again.
Yeah.
And then complete it. It's a strange
Okay.
thing that I do. Very strange thing. I probably don't catch all of them.
No. I
But
don't
I
know,
do
actually.
do
I've
it.
not listened back to any recent ones.
Yeah. And you'd think after 2 years I'd get to the stage where I'd be like, I know I can cut out silence really quickly and easily, so just don't say anything for a moment. Think about what you're going to say and then say it. And the audience will never know that there was a gap because that gap will be gone.
Yeah.
But instead, I don't do that.
You
I
don't.
start a sentence before I even know where it's going. Just like that
And
one.
pause.
Right. Emma, tonight,
Yes.
what movie are we watching?
Oh,
Wait a second.
it's a new season as well, isn't it?
It's a whole new season.
Yeah.
Yes,
you didn't
of
even
course.
say that. You normally say it's
Yeah,
season
it's a whole new season.
250 and episode 1.
Season 10.
Season 10.
10 whole seasons
Double
we're
digits.
into now. And this season was your idea.
Yes.
So if the movies are terrible, it's all your fault.
That's fine. No, but that's good, isn't it? If the movies are terrible, this is a podcast about bad movies. It's literally called I See Bad Movies.
I get your point. I take your point, and I reflected on that point, and it makes perfect sense.
This season was inspired by a particular movie that we are going to watch later on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't say what it is, but it's Vanity Projects. So I know we've done big stars in movies.
Yes.
Big stars in bad movies, but this one is Vanity Project. So a movie that probably should never have existed if it wasn't for their egos.
Yes. And who would have thought big stars having egos
I know.
and having more money than sense and thinking, let's make this movie.
But I am a bit sad that we've already done Atlas, because we did Atlas as a special, didn't we?
Yes,
Jennifer
we did. No.
Lopez's. Yes,
Did we do it as a special?
I thought we did,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought we did it as Bad Movies in Space.
Oh, possibly.
We did
Oh, we did the documentary.
This Is Me Now as a special.
Oh, that's why I'm getting confused.
And they were
Yeah.
both vanity projects
Yeah.
as well.
That was the what's the word I'm looking for?
Documentary.
Epitome?
Oh, the
Epitome
epitome.
of
Oh, yeah, the epitome
Vanity
of
Project.
Vanity projects, yeah.
Because she is just, nobody's more in love with J-Lo than J-Lo, are they?
No.
Nobody ever will be, ever has been.
No, I don't think that.
I've never known somebody so arrogant and up their own arse as that woman. So that would be a perfect movie for this season, but we've already done it, so we can't do it again.
We've already done it, but I don't think we're a million miles off with this movie.
No.
And I know, like, I nearly said, Emma, would you like to tell the audience the movie we're watching? They know what movie we're watching. We've
Yes,
discussed
they
this
do.
because it's on the title of the episode.
It is.
So yeah, so we're watching Swept Away, of course, which
Yep.
is a Guy Ritchie directed movie starring his then wife, Madonna.
Yes, they were married at the time, weren't they? So
They
that's
were.
the only reason she got this part, because she cannot act.
Well, years later, I was reading the trivia. Apparently, years later, Guy Ritchie said, "Why did he cast Madonna in it?" And he said because she was cheap and available.
And that's why he married her.
Oh, meow! Saucer of milk, table 2. Oh, crikey! All right. So, do you want me to? Jesus Christ! Shall I go over the short synopsis of this film that we're going to be
Yes,
putting ourselves
please do.
through? So Amber is 40, beautiful, rich, spoiled, and arrogant beyond measure. Nothing makes this woman happy, including her wealthy but passive husband Tony, a pharmaceutical kingpin. When he takes her on a private cruise from Greece to Italy, she is unimpressed at this impromptu, no-frills vacation and takes out her anger on the ship's first mate, Giuseppe. When a storm leaves the two shipwrecked on a deserted island, however, the tables suddenly turn. Ooh. So this is a remake of a 1974 movie as well.
Yes, I haven't seen either though, have you?
No, I've not seen either.
Okay.
But I wonder if the 1974 film is better than this one.
I would imagine so.
I would imagine it is, but not just because it's old.
Because it's got Madonna in it.
And this is because this one's got Madonna in it, and I don't have high hopes for it.
I mean, what happened to Madonna? Because have you seen her online recently?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's drugs involved, but it seems like there are.
I think the thing is, she just got to the age she is, and it's...
I think the trouble with a lot of these celebrities is they don't want to grow old gracefully, do they? They want to cling on to their youth. And I think also there's part of them that I think it's a really difficult to be as famous as she was and as successful as she was in her younger years. That has got to be so tough to lose. Like to have that
and the
fans everywhere, such attention.
And the industry requires a look. The industry does not want women to get old.
No.
Women can't get old in
you can't get old gracefully
or music. Men, however, can.
Yeah.
They can get older. They can be the silver fox, etc. Yeah. But late women,
Pedro Pascal.
It's very, very, it's very, very different.
Yeah,
very
it is.
Different.
And there's a lot of pressure on women, isn't there? To like that's why a lot of them get this plastic surgery, which looks awful. It always looks worse than just growing old gracefully.
Yeah.
But I think it's very difficult to have so much attention and so much, they live a crazy lifestyle, and then all of a sudden they get older and the career's gone, and it's like, what do I do now? And if you watch I know it's not completely, I guess it's based on true events, but things like Bohemian Rhapsody and things like that, when you watch those movies, they are based on his life. And I don't know how accurate it is, because obviously someone's written his life and he's not here to tell it. But there's real loneliness there.
Oh yeah.
When he's he buys this huge house and he's just rattling around in it on his own, and he's really lonely. Yeah. And everyone sort of goes off and has their lives and their families and stuff, and he's just kind of on his own. So there's a real period of time where they had all this fame and they couldn't have been more successful, and all this attention, and then all of a sudden he's just like, what do I do now?
I wonder if that's why people who are in the limelight like that surround themselves with a team.
Yeah. Because it is very lonely.
Yeah.
You can't hold down friendships and relationships when you're travelling around all the time, can you? I know people do have relationships, but it can't be easy to...
And also, how many people do you meet who then will become your friends, but actually they're just hanger-ons?
Exactly.
How many genuine relationships with people can you build when you are that mega...
anyone back home, if you're gone for months and months of the year, people back home, they're moving on with their lives and they're doing their own thing, and you popping back every 6 months or 9 months or once a year, they're not going to be like, oh, you're back, let's do stuff with you. Everyone's just kind of doing their own thing then. Yeah. So you're not really part of that group. Yeah. So it must be, I do think, people all these youngsters that want to go on reality TV shows and just get famous, and I'm like, do you understand what you're getting into? 'Cause it's not a nice life, really.
Oh, no. And then you've
also got no privacy whatsoever.
You see them nowadays as well, people that got famous doing that kind of thing. Some of them just have gotten on with their lives, some of them.
Yeah.
But others, you just see them just still constantly chasing that.
And you've also had a couple of people commit suicide that have been on reality shows because they've had that shot to fame and then it's died down, they haven't got any work, and it's like a real kind of roller coaster, and they can't handle it, because it's like all of a sudden you're known and you're somebody, 5 minutes later everyone's forgotten about you. You're getting no work, and then it's just really sad. Actually,
and I don't think there's enough support for. There's not enough support for people coming out of these things as well. And I know we're going a little bit away from the swept away thing here, but they can be edited to be villains. Yeah, and the public watching these things can't differentiate between a TV company editing something to make it more dramatic.
Even when you can see the cuts, can't
Yeah.
you? Sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything prepares them for the online trolls and stuff as well.
Engineering drama.
Yeah.
Because people are stuck. I mean,
Well,
I don't really watch them, but people are stuck in a little microcosm.
Yeah.
And for 24 hours a day, doing nothing in these places.
Yeah.
And what else are you going to do than just react to what's in front of you?
Well, they do very much manipulate it, because I've heard a few people on podcasts that have done reality TV. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and they've said, they will tell you you're boring. Start an argument. Do this, do that, because we need the views. And so they will, and they'll put you in situations to set it up to piss you off, or to make it like cheating on your girlfriend, or like they'll set things up for the TV show. It's not, this is never reality TV. It's still a TV show at the end of the day. So yeah, I do think it's I don't know whether many people come out with a healthy mental state after being as famous as like somebody like Madonna, or like say Queen, or Elton John, or somebody that's that big.
Queen? Do you mean all of Queen, or just Freddie Mercury?
Well, I guess the others you don't really know that well.
No, I know.
I guess it was just Freddie Mercury. But it's I don't think people get that side of it today. They don't get that you don't have a normal life. You don't have everyone knows all of your business as well.
Yes. You
can't do anything like that people don't know about.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also a classic thing that leads to things like this, vanity projects. Because, when you are mega...
Well, your ego's inflated, isn't it, every day?
Like Madonna, mega rich, mega famous, and a trend-setting icon as she is, absolutely is.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. There's always going to be people that go, this is a good idea, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah.
But I think when you've got somebody like... If you had somebody every day, or not just somebody, millions of people adoring you, telling you you're great, everything you did was great, it's going to affect your ego eventually.
Yeah,
even if you're really down to earth to start with, you're going to get to a point where you're living in J-Lo's world. Yeah. Totally delusional.
Hey, Emma, I think what you don't realise is we're all just living in J-Lo's world.
We are, yeah. It's J-Lo's world and we're just living in it.
Yeah, Shall I toss the coin and then we'll go and watch Swept Away?
Yes.
Okay. What do you reckon?
Good.
Spot on. So I'm hoping that there's actually some good things to talk about, because it doesn't get a very high score on IMDb. Shall I tell you the score now?
Yes.
So it's 3.6 out of 10.
That sounds right up our street then.
It does, doesn't it? But also, the original Swept Away, would you like to know what that got?
Yes.
That's... oh, God, it's just disappeared. There it is. Sorry. That's currently sitting on 7.5 out of 10. The original.
Oh, wow. So they really ruined it then.
So I think, they really really ruined it. And again, I don't... You know what I'm like? I love looking at the little trivia and that. And I think this is a really interesting little bit of trivia for you. So when the studio screened Swept Away 2002 for Lena Wertmüller, the director of the original film, it is alleged that she left the theatre at the end crying out, "What did they do to my movie? Why did they do this?"
Why?
So on that note, Emma, shall we go and watch Swept Away?
Let's do it.
Hello, Emma. Welcome back.
Hi.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So I did say that Madonna can't act.
Yes, you did.
She really can't act.
Oh, no, she really can't, can she? There's no nuance, is there? It's like...
She also... Her character was awful.
Oh, her character was just the worst. And you know, like, when you're playing someone who ultimately you want the audience to kind of warm to you as the tone and theme of the movie shifts halfway through.
Yeah.
There needs to be something redemptive about your character somewhere. Just a little kernel of possibility that actually behind this horribleness there's...
You might be a good person, but you've had a hard life, or you've been through something difficult.
Something. But no, it's just purely... we'll talk about it properly in a moment, but She is just the most disdainful, horrible person in the world. A caricature of nastiness.
Yeah.
Even, you remember the movie Overboard with Goldie Hawn?
Yes.
Where she loses her memory, goes overboard, loses her memory, gets saved by Kurt Russell and moves in with his family, etc., etc. Yeah. Even then, like, she's playing the same type of character.
Yeah.
But
you don't hate her.
But you don't hate her as much as you would do Madonna's character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. So, look, there's not a lot that actually happens in this film because ultimately they end up swept onto a desert island and spend a long time on this desert island.
Well, they go on the
the
boat, don't they? And then,
but the vast majority of the film is on a desert island.
Yeah, true.
But we start out. We have Amber, Madonna. She is wealthy.
Yep.
Spoiled socialite. She's got her husband Tony. Is the pharmaceutical giant. He's got a lot of money there. It's him and two other couples on a private cruise from Italy to Greece. Okay. Amber is not happy because it's not a luxury liner that they're on. It is very much a back to basics boat that they're on.
I wouldn't grumble at it.
No, I wouldn't grumble at it. You've got to start. You're being weighted on hand and foot. Yeah, weighted on hand and foot. You've got the most wonderful views of the Mediterranean going on. I mean, how could you grumble? It was gorgeous.
She's giving J-Lo attitude though, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I mean, she's not going to get, ham sandwich with orange, is she?
What?
What was it when she went to that
when she said, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Oh, what was the club? Yeah, she was talking about.
Was it
I can't remember what she
club sandwich and orange or something.
Something like that.
What's your bodega order? Oh, ham and cheese club
if you
with
know,
orange.
You know.
If you know, you know.
So unbearable.
Everyone in Brooklyn's like, no, J-Lo, we don't know. What do you mean?
I absolutely love that clip of her on TikTok of somebody walking up to her and going, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" She looks at them like, "I fucking hate you." And she goes, "I'm a singer and an actor." And they're like, "Oh, what's your name?" She's like, "Jennifer." And I'm thinking, you're seething inside. You are so angry that they don't know who you are, or they pretended to not know who you are. But that's exactly how I would approach her. I would approach her like, even though I do know who she is, I'd pretend I didn't, just to piss her off, because she gets so irritated by it.
I once served a celebrity.
Okay.
So I used to work in a department store in the luggage department, and we would sell obviously luggage, but we'd also sell briefcases and leather bags and that sort of thing.
Briefcase wanker.
Yeah, I wasn't the one carried the briefcase. I was the briefcase selling wanker. Anyway, this guy came in, and I kind of recognised him. I didn't really recognise him.
Yeah.
And he's an old TV star from like the 80s and that in the Professionals.
Okay.
I can't remember. Oh God. That's bad. I can't actually remember his name at the moment either. But he was being really weird. Like when I wanted his signature, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I need to remember. I need to remember to sign it with my real signature, not my signing signature."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I just need your signature, mate.
Yeah.
I don't really care."
And
anyway,
so you knew you kind of recognised him, but couldn't place who it was.
I couldn't place him, but it was Martin Shaw.
Okay, I don't know who
from
that is.
Like The Professionals, a 1970s TV show, pretty big, really big in the UK. But yeah, I was like, I haven't got a clue who you are.
Was he annoyed that you didn't know who he was? Or?
Yeah, I think he kept mentioning as if to be like, "Why don't you know?" And I'm like, at the time I was 20. I don't know.
I wouldn't have known who he was either.
It was a 1977 TV show, The Professionals.
Yeah, and you can't be so arrogant to just walk around thinking everyone knows who you are. Like, whatever generation you are, not everyone's going to know who you are.
I was born 2 years before it went. 2 years after it went on telly.
Yeah.
Why would I know you?
I know.
But it was when I saw the name on there, and I was like, wait a second, Martin Shaw. He's going on about and I was like, Martin Shaw. And I said to my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time, but I said to Tricia, I said, do you know anyone in acting called Martin Shaw? And she was like, yeah, the professionals, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I sold him a leather bag earlier.
Yeah.
He was a dickhead. He's probably normally very nice, but...
Yeah, just a bit arrogant.
But like, I'll make sure I sign it with my actual signature and not my...
Yeah.
And you don't say that to people in shops.
No.
I better not sign this with my fake
it's like
signature.
Going, oh, do you know who I am? You might as well be like, you know who I am, don't you, right? Yeah, I'm famous. Like, I know I saw Rowan Atkinson on, I think it was on Graham Norton.
Yeah.
And he told a story that he went to buy a car and he said the guy selling him this car was like, oh, you really look like somebody.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I'm Rowan Atkinson. And he was like, no, you really look like somebody. Who is it? And then he was like, oh, I've got it. Like halfway through the conversation, he was like, I've got it. You really, really look like the guy who plays Mr. Bean. And he was like, yeah, that is me. That's because it is me. And he was like, oh, ha, 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 ha. Very funny. And he was like, I had this whole conversation with him and I told him it was me.
Yeah.
And he just did not believe it was me. He just thought I really looked like him. And I was like, that's so weird. That you're actually telling him. And obviously on the paperwork and everything, it must have been like Rowan Atkinson. But he was just like, oh yeah, really funny, mate.
I better not sign this Blackadder.
It's like so funny that he would just not accept. It's like, you really like him, but he wouldn't accept that it was him. So bizarre.
Oh my God. That must. I mean, at least he's not being a dick about that.
No, he wasn't. He was just like, yeah, it is me. That's why I look like him because I am him. And he was like, oh yeah, very funny, mate. Like, obviously you're not. And it's like, but these people do exist in real life. They do go shopping and they do stuff like normal people. But yeah, he said that there's only very few countries in the world he can go to on holiday and not get recognised.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because Mr. Bean's gone all around the world.
Worldwide.
Because it's not, I suppose, because there's no language really in there, is there? So it can be translated everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone can kind of get the humour, can't they? Because it's not...
I remember being on holiday in Greece, a little place called Haniote.
Yeah.
Okay. And we were in this bar... And they had multiple screens in this bar, and all of them were playing Mr. Bean.
Oh, really?
And everyone was just glued to it, watching it.
Yeah.
Everyone was just glued to it, watching it. And
it's
it
crazy,
wasn't even busy.
How popular it was.
It wasn't a massive touristy area at the time. It was all locals in the bar, and everybody just sat there watching Mr. Bean cracking up.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great night.
Yeah.
But no wonder he's recognised everywhere.
But I think that's probably why, though, isn't it? Because you can just have it on playing, and it doesn't need to be dubbed or translated. It's no subtitles. It's just you get it, can't you?
Stupid.
But he was saying that it was annoying because there's so few places he can go on holiday and not be constantly recognised.
Yeah.
Because he's got a very unique look, hasn't he?
Yes.
So you can't really mistake him.
No.
I've not seen another
unless
guy
you're
that
a
looks
car
like
salesman.
Him. Unless you're a car salesman. But yeah, I think if you've got a distinctive look like that as well, that's even more silly that you wouldn't believe that it was him, because I've never seen another guy that resembles him at all.
But no offense to any car salesman that might be listening to this podcast, and maybe even the person that last sold me my car, Nick, if you're listening, because I recommended the podcast because he said when I got my car off of him, he was like, oh, do you mind going on Google and giving us a 5-star review? And I said, yeah, mate, as long as you go onto Google and sign up to download my podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to give...
Did
he? Yeah, he did. To be fair, he did. He probably went straight back on and unsubscribed.
Yeah.
But Nick, if you're listening, this is no offence to car salesman, but that car salesman just would not believe Rowan Atkinson saying, no, I'm Rowan Atkinson. I had to teach my car salesman about European Parliament and how they're not unelected. They're actually elected into European Parliament. Yeah. He was like, really? Yes. So why do they keep saying that unelected bureaucrats? And I said, Nick, to be honest, they're saying it so people like yourself go, I can't believe these unelected bureaucrats are running our lives from Europe. Yeah. That's why. And he's like,
why are we
that kind of
talking
makes
about this?
sense.
When you were buying a car?
Because he was having a go at Europe because of how long it was taking to get cars now.
Oh, okay.
But this was not the last car I bought, the car before.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I went back to him, to be honest. Sorry, Nick.
Because he signed up for the podcast, that's why.
Yeah, because he signed up for the podcast. But yeah, he was like, because it was like, oh, it's going to be much longer to get your car now because of Brexit. Bloody Europeans messing all that up. There's bloody unelected bureaucrats in Europe. Glad we're out of there. And I was like, Nick, you're literally a car salesperson and you're saying how hard it is to get a vehicle now because of Brexit. And I said, did you vote for Brexit? He went, yeah, I voted to leave. Oh.
Because people didn't know what they were voting for. That's the trouble. So many people didn't know. They were just like, oh, it'll stop immigration.
Actually, it makes it worse because we no longer have an agreement with France to send people back. So we've got to keep them.
Yeah.
What don't you understand?
I know.
People
just...
And I say we've got to keep them. We have a moral right to look after people that come to our shores, I believe. But...
Yeah.
But there was an agreement in place for us to...
I don't think it should have ever gone to a vote, to be honest.
No.
I don't think it was for the public to decide because we didn't know what we were voting for.
No,
I didn't vote for Brexit, by the way, but we didn't know, like most of the people that voted Brexit, when you talk to people, they weren't voting for the right reasons. No, it's very evident they weren't voting for the right things. But they were just like, oh yeah, get the immigrants out.
At least we got that £350 million a week back for the NHS.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. What was I talking about?
Right, they're on the boat. Away. She's not happy because it's not a...
Yeah. It's not the fancy liner,
it's not the luxury
etc.
she's used to.
And yeah, she's got no other outlet for her anger other than this Giuseppe fella.
Yeah.
Okay. He is the one person on the boat who seems to be anywhere near capable of his job as well. He hangs out with cooks and other people on the ship, and they seem to just be, just in it for, I don't know, the money that they're getting from these people rather than the love of being a sailor, which he is, and blah 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 blah. But this movie, Guy Ritchie is said to be a great director.
Yeah.
Okay. But this film is one of the worst directed movies I think I've ever seen in my entire life. We join so many scenes with random sentences that make it seem like they're mid-conversation.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on half the time, do we? And there is just a hell of a lot in the beginning, which I think we get in most of the movies we watch on this podcast, of just filler.
Yes.
There's no real point to it. It's just to show that she's being a bitch to Giuseppe, isn't it?
It is a montage.
Really a point to it.
We
do get a montage,
Yeah, the whole beginning of the film is literally just a montage of her being awful to Giuseppe.
Yeah.
And
him getting fed up with it.
Yeah. And then there's one sort of little dream sequence. Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I'll talk about that because that's a good scene to talk about.
Yeah, I guess at least we do get a montage.
Yeah, we do. But unfortunately, it is the whole beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and it just gets to the point where you're like, okay, we get it. She's an arrogant bitch.
Yep.
And she's taken out on this poor guy that works there. We didn't need 20 scenes to show that.
Yeah.
You could have done 2 or 3 scenes where she's kicking off and this isn't good enough, that's not good enough.
Yeah, but we could have... exactly. And still had some sort of cohesive scenes.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, it was... We kind of jump into a scene as if we've come in halfway through.
Yeah.
And I feel like we get one extreme to the other. So some movies, it's too literal and too much explanation, and we've got like visual props and them speaking, and you're like, okay, we can guess what's going on here. You don't need to be this obvious.
Yeah.
But then this was the other extreme. It was like, okay, we don't know what's going on here because we've just jumped into a scene halfway through. So
I know, but what that says to me is that it's all completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
It was all irrelevant.
Yeah, it was literally just to say she's being a bitch.
Yeah.
And not appreciating the staff, and particularly this one guy. So
it's not so much that we are being shown her character, we are being smashed over the head with it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, maybe that's a little bit from Giuseppe's point of view, because all he's doing is he's just existing, doing his things about the ship, and then all of a sudden
he's just doing his job.
He's just got this woman being an absolute cow to him. Absolute cow.
Yeah.
So this goes on and on and on and on, and one day they are on the boat. Some people have gone off to visit a cave, and it's the middle of the afternoon. Amber kind of wakes up from a nap on the deck, and says, "Oh, I kind of want to see these caves." And Giuseppe's like, "Look, no, they're too far away. We won't get there and back in time. There's a storm coming in. It's just stupid idea."
Yeah.
She's like, "No, I definitely want to go." So then we cut to them out on the sea, going off on this boat, and surprise, surprise, the boat breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And they're stuck on this boat overnight. The storm kicks in. No, they're stuck on the boat overnight. the storm doesn't kick in. There's no storm at that point, actually.
No, I don't think so.
They're on the boat overnight, and
does he give her his jumper because she's cold?
Yes.
She's only got
more like she demands it, more likely, and so they're stuck out in this boat. The sea's gone calm. They've got no oars or anything to row this boat.
Yeah.
They don't have the engine working. They are without supplies because they weren't expecting to be out here for any amount of time.
Yeah.
And then a storm kicks in the next night and smashes the boat up, and they kind of drift closer and closer towards an island.
Mm-hmm.
And like this island is how far away from them? Probably a good 5 kilometers away.
Yeah, quite far.
It's because I mean, like, you can see a long way on the sea.
Yeah, it's deceptive, isn't it? Because you can see land, but that would be a good couple of miles, probably,
easy.
Probably more than that. So yeah, but they just see land and go, oh, okay, we can. And they start
paddling.
Yeah,
towards.
So you couldn't swim that, but anyway.
So they end up on this desert island.
Look, people swim the channel, so I guess they could.
Oh my god. Why would people choose to do that?
The best thing about that is you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like cave divers. Me and Brody were watching some cave diving videos because we've got this morbid fascination with things like that. We're like, why would you do this and try and get through gaps where you have to like breathe in because if your chest moves you can't get through. Like, why would you do that? My claustrophobia, I could never. But
do you see those TikToks of when they have like cave divers whenever they see a little crack or something, so like cave diver sees that crack between there and then
they put like a little helmet,
and it's just the trainer sticking out.
Yeah, but it's like, why? And then we were watching Free Climbers as well, and we were like, again, why? You fall off of a building, you're dead.
That's it, you're done.
But with the cave thing, I can't, because I'm not claustrophobic. I can get in a lift.
Mm-hmm.
I don't particularly enjoy it, but I can get in a lift.
Yeah.
But it's I wouldn't crawl through a tunnel. No way would I crawl through a tunnel. And you know, like when on I'm Celebrity, they do like the coffin challenges where they have to lay in a coffin. There's no way you'd get me in there.
No, you'd never get me in a coffin.
So
never.
It's like I can't think of anything worse. Even if someone said to me, I'll give you like £1 million, £10 million, I couldn't do it for any amount of money. I could not go crawling through these caves where there's like a tiny little gap.
Yeah. I told you about the time when I went to scout camp and we did potholing.
Yeah, no thanks.
And it was just climbing down these pipes.
I'd have a panic attack and die.
Slowly, ever decreasing sizes of pipes.
Yeah.
And I remember I got halfway through one of them and I was just, I couldn't move.
I would literally I think I'd just freak out and pass out. I don't think I could
No. I had to back up. I had to back up, and everybody else did it, and I just sat. That's when I learned.
Crawling through a tunnel or a gap where I can't freely move my arms. No. I like the fear that It's not even just the fear of getting stuck; it's the fear of it collapsing on you. Yeah.
And that's it.
It's just that fear of being trapped. And there's that guy. I don't know if you've heard about this one, but there's the Nutty Putty Caves. It's somewhere in America. A guy went the wrong way. Because they normally do have a route, don't they, that they're following.
Yes.
But he took a wrong turn and he ended up upside down and he couldn't get back up out of this because the gap was so small and he was literally like pretty much vertical. Yeah. So he couldn't get back out. And they did attempt to rescue him because his partner was outside the cave and she knew that he was in there. They did attempt to rescue him, but they were like going to pretty much break every bone in his body to get him out. And all the blood just rushed to his head after so many hours of being in there, and he did die in there. And I just think, what a horrible, slow, painful death. And just the fear of knowing I'm trapped. I literally can't move. And he must have known at one point, I'm going to die here, because they were attempting to rescue him. They couldn't get him out. So
now, imagine that, and all he had was an iPhone with Swept Away on it. To entertain him until the inevitable happened.
I mean, no.
No, just
don't make it even worse. It was bad enough.
That's the real torture. Yeah. That's the real torture.
But yeah, I just don't get. I just think some things are not. It's like climbing Everest as well. Why? So many dead bodies on Everest because people don't make it.
I think anything where
harsh.
Anything where you use the dead bodies of people who had died
as markers
on the way as markers for your journey.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I know.
What the hell, man?
I just don't get it. I
No.
don't get.
And I know, look, I get it. I understand that there are people out there who are thrill seekers, etc., etc.
Go on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Although I suppose they break down and people die on those as
They
well.
do. Yeah.
But I mean, that seems
True.
safer than climbing Everest.
Yeah, it does. It seems a hell of a lot safer than climbing Everest
Yeah.
or crawling
Or
through
like free
potholes.
climbing and stuff. Like I've watched a documentary on this guy that was a free climber. So he'd rock climbing,
Yeah.
but he no harness. He'd just do it free. And it's like, okay, you fall off there, you're just dead. That's it. Done. I'm like, I know any of us could die at any time, but it's like, why would you make that probability even more?
Yeah.
Like, why would you deliberately put yourself in a dangerous situation?
I know.
I don't get it.
I just don't understand it. And look,
No.
you could all be sitting there listening to us going, you
It was so
absolute
boring.
pansies.
Yeah.
You're so boring.
So boring. I'd rather be
But-
boring and alive
But I am also
than
sitting...
dead on Everest.
But I am also sitting here across from someone who has thrown themselves out of an aeroplane once before.
I have, yeah.
So there.
But this is going to sound crazy, but that felt safe. So I won't go on I have been on roller coasters and hated it, but I don't go on roller coasters. And I think I worked out because I was like, I go on water slides. I've done a skydive.
Mm-hmm.
I've flown an aeroplane, like I did a flying lesson.
Yeah.
Things like in a really rickety old plane. And I think I've worked out the roller coaster thing is because I'm trapped. I'm locked in somewhere. I'm like trapped in a...
Okay, interesting.
But the skydive...
And you're not somehow
more free.
locked in an airplane cockpit?
Yeah, the airplane thing. Okay, I guess I was kind of trapped in an airplane. But
I'm not trying to pick holes in your
But
argument. I get it. I understand.
I think it's like the
You've
freedom
got
of not being... I think when you're in a
in the airplane,
ride,
you're
you've
in
got, like,
control
yeah.
to a degree.
It's more of... Yeah, but it's more of a control thing, I think, because... In a roller coaster, when they strap you in and you've got the big bar over your chest, and I'm like, I'm in. There's nothing I can do, and I've got no control. This thing's just going to go, and when it does I can't stand when it chugs up really slow. I can't stand it, and they always feel really rickety and too flimsy to me, and I just don't like them. But yeah, I jumped out of an airplane, no problem. But then, like you have to do a tandem one for your first one anyway, or for your first few. I imagine you have to do quite a few before you can do it on your own. And so I had no responsibility for opening that parachute. And unless the guy's got a death wish that's doing it with you, he's opening that parachute and he's packing it properly.
Or he's packed his laundry instead by accident.
I mean, that could happen. Or you've got a husband that packs it for you and tries to kill you. Like that poor woman that he tried to kill. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
So he tried to leave the gas on, didn't he, at home? And that didn't work. And then he tried to kill her with a parachute, and that didn't work. This woman it's like an Austin Powers. Why won't you die? And she survived it. She like crashed to earth and survived. And I was like, that's just like karma telling that guy,
yeah, it is.
Like, don't mess with this.
Quit it now.
Just
stop now.
Stop trying to kill your wife.
Stop.
Just get a divorce.
Yeah.
I just think that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like water slides and stuff, you're just like, you're free. You're not trapped. You're not like restrained. I think that's what it is. It must be.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Because I can do stuff like that. Like I go to a water park and I go on every thing. I go on every slide. And I'm not even a confident swimmer.
Yeah, right.
And I do have a fear of like the sea and stuff. I'm all right in a pool, but like
I think with the
water,
pool, I know with the sea, I know I can
get out of a pool.
There's a bottom to the sea, but that bottom can sometimes be a lot further than you think.
Yeah, even if it's deep, I know I can swim to the edge and I can get out. The
And
sea,
the thing is,
no,
a
I
pool,
don't want to go swimming in the sea.
A deep pool that you're probably going to be doing like a water park or something is not going to be much more than 2 meters deep. So if you can... Although
there was one slide when I went to water park that was like it was kind of like, you know, when there's bowls where you like spin round, and then you go through it's like a funnel.
Right. Yeah.
And this one, you kind of went down a big slide and then you span round and round in this bowl. So you're really disorientated. And then you go through a tube and then the pool underneath was 6 foot deep.
Okay.
It had to obviously be deep because you're plunging down into it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go on that because I was like, I'm going to be disorientated, and then you could go head first, feet first, whatever. You don't know which way you're going to go.
Yeah.
And then
all
you're
of a
just
sudden
in this really deep water. And I was like, I can't be in that deeper water disorientated, so I didn't go on that one. But when you just come out into a normal pool, I'm fine. But I don't do roller coasters. I don't like the thing of being trapped on something. I think
I don't mind roller coasters. I've never had much opportunity to go on them in my life, but when I have done, I've gone on them.
Yeah. I have done them, but didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember once going to Chesington World of Adventures midweek once, and it was empty.
Yeah,
absolutely
amazing.
empty.
Yeah.
And this was years and years and years ago, so there wasn't
Yeah.
like any of the really fancy new rides. I don't even know what there is at Chesington anymore, but they still had the Vampire, which is quite a tame roller coaster, really, to be honest. It doesn't go upside down or anything.
Yeah.
But we, as soon as we got off it, we were back round and straight back on it. It was that empty. It was. We probably did it about 20 times. I would imagine. Great day. And then by the 20th time, we were just like, why are we still doing this?
Other rides to go on, or
there's only so many funny faces we can pull with that camera, Anyway, so they end up on this island, all right, and instantly the power balance shifts.
Yes.
Okay. Giuseppe starts to be in control because he's got the knowledge of how to live and fish and look after himself. And
they seem to have water as well. Where'd they get? Do they find like a fresh water source or something? There must be, because they've got water, haven't they?
They always seem to have water.
Yeah.
And they always seem to be catching fish. So it's clearly there's all sorts of.
They make it so easy, but for anyone that's watched Bear Grylls The Island, it is not that easy to fish.
No.
When you've got no fishing rods and stuff.
The only thing I can imagine is because Giuseppe has maybe they've given us the idea that Giuseppe has spent his life on the water.
Yeah.
He knows what he's about.
Yeah.
But even still, you've still got to catch fish, cook them, it's and enough of them for 2 grown adults to survive however long they are on this island.
I mean, I'd be screwed because I don't eat fish.
You would be screwed.
So I'd be like, what am I going to eat?
I think you'd learn to eat fish.
And I wouldn't eat limpets or anything anything like that.
You'd learn.
Which is what they live on the island, on the Bear Grylls Island. They're they pick, because they're starving. They've got they can't catch enough food to eat, so they just waste away, and they end up eating things like limpets and stuff that they find on the rocks. And you're like, no, I'd rather starve. They look disgusting.
See, when I was young, we used to go whelking.
Oh no!
And catch whelks in that, and then just boil them up and
disgusting.
Pick them out, get the whelk shell, and pick them out with a little needle and eat them.
Oh, disgusting!
I loved it. It's so good, so good. Anyway. Sorry, just I don't want to turn your stomach. And as I say, like the dynamics between them absolutely shit.
Yes, because she relies on him now, doesn't she?
Yeah, and he basically makes her the slave of the island. Has to do everything he says.
Does she have to call him master as well, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Has to call him master.
Yeah, your money means nothing on a deserted island, does it?
Yeah, it means nothing. And this is the point. This is the point of the movie. The movie is, well, at least the 1974 movie was supposedly trying to raise questions between capitalism, which is the Amber's side, and communism at the time in the 1974 movie of Giuseppe. The idea of communism and for the masses, etc., rather than the individualism of capitalism, etc. And also the dynamics of like the relationship between men and women.
Yeah. And
it all shifting that way. But this film just has absolutely no nuance to it. No nuance at all. It's
none of those messages came across in any way, I didn't think.
Not really at all. You had to be like, okay, so we've just spent the first half hour of this movie watching Madonna being a horrible capitalist.
Yeah.
Okay. And they even like there's a whole sort of bit about what makes a good capitalist and all that sort of thing. There's that whole section about it, and then you got Giuseppe going on about being communism, blah 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 in the film again, not even done in any clever way, and then instantly, as soon as Giuseppe gets the power, and it's like, well, look, this is what the world would be like if communism replaced capitalism.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Giuseppe becomes like this horrible, overbearing, you're working for me now.
Yeah.
And it's just like anti-capitalist, anti-communist propaganda in a movie that doesn't know which one is better for humanity or is even trying to make a comment on which one is better.
Yeah.
They're literally going, both of these are shit.
Yeah.
Both of these are awful. And it's just
What's your point, movie? What's your point?
What is your point? I know, honestly. I don't know if the 1974 movie does it any better.
I haven't seen it.
I honestly couldn't say. And I don't think I want to watch it because I don't think it would. I don't think it would. But that's ultimately it. Amber becomes Giuseppe's slave. She does everything for him. She is treated very poorly by him. She is talked down to. She is beaten by him as well.
Yeah.
And this all culminates in a scene where...
I've got this down as a bad scene. Yeah.
So I'll say very briefly what it is, and I won't go into detail about it. But ultimately, Giuseppe chases Amber down and begins to force himself on her, and stops himself because he doesn't want to be a monster. But it's too late, Giuseppe. It's too late.
Yeah.
And then I know Stockholm Syndrome isn't a thing. Right? It's kind of proven that it isn't. It was just like a bullshit psychobabble thing that was made up.
Yeah.
But this movie very much makes it look like it is a real thing, because that's enough for Amber to be now interested in actually pleasing Giuseppe.
Yes.
And this leads to a very problematic relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And... again, I don't know if the 1974 movie did it any better. I doubt it.
Yeah, so it's that... So we see this a lot, don't we? It's like, oh, they hate each other and then they end up in a relationship.
Enemies to lovers.
In love and blah, blah. But, yeah, they haven't done this correctly because, again, like you said about her being a nice, decent person, there has to be something there, some morsel of like, okay, there's some good here. Maybe this woman's just had a hard time in life, but actually she's a good person. She's just, scarred by all the stuff that's happened to her.
Yeah.
She's not. She's awful to him. They clearly hate each other. There's nothing, they don't leave anything there for you to go, oh, actually, there is something there. They're flirting a little bit when they're being playful or but there's nothing. They literally just hate each other.
Yeah.
So they don't build it to like, okay, we can see there's an attraction. Maybe they're attracted to each other, but they just annoy each other or like... There's none of that. It's not just a fiery couple. It's like they hate each other.
That's it, isn't it?
And then they're desperately in love.
Yeah, and I think
together.
There's many things I think they could have done to improve that. Like instead of the husband just being apathetic, it could be like a really controlling husband. Maybe he's a lot older than her, and she was younger and impressionable, and has been turned into this by him. But there's actually a good person somewhere inside. That doesn't happen. He's too apathetic a character for him to have brought that out in her. Yeah. So it's natural for her to be like this. That's her character. Yeah. Yeah.
But they sort of just end up living their days like in love, don't they? And then it gets to the point where she doesn't want to leave, does she? She wants to stay on the island with him.
There's a moment where she's out collecting firewood.
Yeah.
All this firewood that she does that classic kind of thing. I'm going and collecting firewood. Oh,
there's loads of firewood here.
Perfectly placed firewood here, and she's gathering it up.
It's a bit like Minecraft, everything you need.
Yeah. And she looks up, and there's a pleasure boat in the bay.
Yeah.
And she hides.
Yeah.
Because she wants to stay on the island.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you saying? Like, this life of being a slave but in love with your master is better than the
marriage,
capitalist rich life that you were leading, which is ultimately empty. But
money doesn't make you happy, David.
Yeah, but
it would fucking help.
Does slavery make you happy?
I'd rather be unhappy on my luxury yacht than than happy in my little house. I mean, it's not true, is it? I mean, I'm not a materialistic person, but I think if you had money, a lot of your worries would be gone.
The thing is, it's always amazing how it's people with money that say money can't buy you happiness.
Yeah. But it's like, it would help.
No, I'm sorry, but
I wouldn't stress about money anymore.
I grew up poor.
Yeah.
I grew up poor in Glasgow.
Yeah.
And money absolutely fucking can buy you happiness.
Well, it can, because you've then got everything you need. And if something goes wrong, you don't have to worry. You're just like, okay, I need to fix something. I've got the money there to pay for it. No stress. Just get it fixed.
Yeah. We didn't have a phone in our house. We couldn't afford a phone.
It's just like,
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like...
I mean, we got our first PC when I was 17.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even on the internet. It was just a PC.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, great.
I know.
What can I do with that? Oh, I can type out some things in Word. You can't even go on the internet.
One of my favourite snacks was chopped pork with vinegar.
Oh,
it was
that
just
sounds
because
gross.
it was just cheap meat.
Yeah.
But it was like one of my friends said, "Oh, you should put vinegar on it because it just gives it a little bit extra."
Yeah.
And I said to my mum, can we try that?"
Yeah.
And that was like one of my favourite snacks. Just honestly, it's just like, how counsel are you when you're eating chopped pork with vinegar as a dressing?
I never had that.
You know, it's like, wow, you know, my God.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sorry, but
Anyway,
money
so
absolutely can buy you happiness.
She's thinking, don't want to get off, I want to stay here.
Yeah.
But they do get off eventually, don't they?
They do get off eventually. So this time she hides from it, but there is a later time when they, you know, nothing really happens. They have they have this weird night in this magic shack that they've got that seems to have everything
talk about the
they need.
location.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. That they have this weird night where they sort of sing songs together, and then the next day there is yet again another boat in the cove, and they have this kind of conversation about how we should stay here, etc. Let's not go. Let's. But then, sure enough, they're on this yacht.
Yeah.
And they're rescued, and instantly she's sort of taken back into her world by her husband. It's been a month that they've been gone.
Yes.
A whole month. And we were like, how long have they been gone?
But she tries to get a note to him, he tries to get a note to her.
Yeah, so the husband gets someone to kind of like...
He leaves it in the hotel, doesn't he?
Well, but the
husband sees it.
Yes, so he does, but this is a little bit after what happened. So I think the husband can kind of sense that my wife has been on a deserted island with this man, this attractive man, for a whole month.
Yeah,
she's acting a bit weird.
She's looking
now
like
that
she
she's
got
back.
some.
Yeah. You know, she's looking a bit feral.
Yeah,
you know, and he gets someone to offer Giuseppe a load of money to just disappear.
Yeah.
Just disappear. But Giuseppe instead says no to the money, but then they try a second time, and he takes the money and he buys a ring. And that ring he puts in a note to her in the hotel that she's in to say, "I'll be on this dock at this time." And she doesn't get it.
Isn't it left in the pigeonhole
in the pigeonholes
of the hotel, and the husband sees it. He's like, no, give it to her, not the husband. And then he's like, is there any post? And the woman who works there says no, but then he sees the red envelope.
Yes, that's
just
right.
in the thingy. So, and then he takes it, and then the husband has it. So she doesn't ever get this note, does she?
She doesn't ever get it until
they're on the helicopter.
Yeah, they get into a helicopter to leave to go back to their normal lives, and Giuseppe's kind of waiting for her at this dock, but she doesn't know to meet him there.
Yeah,
and he says he gives he does something really clever and cruel. Actually, he gives this envelope to Amber and says, "That's the tip for the guy here."
Oh yeah.
And so she just hands it over to the guy helping them on the helicopter, and he sees on the envelope the note saying Giuseppe, Pierre, whatever.
Yeah.
So he goes, "Oh, I suppose you must be asking me to take that to him." So he takes it to him. Giuseppe then is like, "Oh no, she's giving it back." So he runs to the helicopter, and as he's running, it's too late. Helicopter's taken off. He throws the ring, lands in the sea, and they're forever parted.
With the heart of the ocean.
Yeah. Madonna has her own heart of the ocean moment.
Done, isn't it?
That's it, done. And they don't end up together, which I think is the right thing, actually, because I don't think it was a healthy relationship.
No, toxic.
They would have not been happy ultimately because it was a relationship brought upon by that's right, manipulation.
Yeah.
Yes, and a fair bit of forcefulness. So I don't think it would have been right. No, it wouldn't have been right. And that was the film.
That was it.
That was it. Very, very little happens.
So with that being said, did you actually have any good things to talk about?
I do actually.
Okay.
I do have some good things to talk about. I have a good line.
Yeah.
And I have 2 good scenes. That's it. Very little good stuff to talk about, though.
Okay, I've got good prop, good scenes, and good location.
Where would you like to start?
Do you
Location?
want to do your line first?
Oh, I'll do. Okay, I'll do my line. It's quite a long one.
Okay.
So this is in the beginning section of the film where Amber is being just a complete bitch to him for no good reason. So he's just gone fishing and that sort of thing. And he's caught a lot of fish. And also she has this issue with the fish, and she ends up going on a day trip to some town, and she buys fish and brings the fish into the boat. But they don't use the fish that she's bought. They still use the fish that they caught. And because she thinks it's the fish that they bought, it's like, oh, this is lovely. It's so much better.
Typical rich person.
Yeah, exactly. And so Giuseppe's just caught a load of fish, and he says something, and she's walking by, and she says something snide to him, and he says out loud that, God, she's such a fucking bitch. And she rounds on the captain and says, did he just swear in front of me? And the captain cries, and the captain replies back, and he's going, no, fucking, that's the name, that's the Italian name for the fish that we've caught. And then, I copied the right line. I thought I'd repeat myself. No, I copied the right line. So this is the exact line. So Giuseppe says, what she said about the fishies? What's this fucking bitch complaining about now? Amber. Captain, did one of your crew members just swear in front of me? Captain. Oh, no. You mean Fuken. This is the Italian name of the fishies. He doesn't think it's a very good fish. And I just thought that captain having to be the go-between between Giuseppe
working his
and
arse off
Amber.
To keep the peace.
Yeah, working his arse off. Going, no, Fuken.
How do I talk myself out of this one?
But then it leads to a bad line, and so I'm not going to say it now.
Oh, okay.
Because the bad line is going to be obviously on the flip side.
Yeah.
Because it does lead then into one of the worst lines I think ever said in the history of cinema by anyone.
Is that bad?
It's that bad, yeah.
Okay, I have to tune into the Patreon episode then, everyone, to hear that.
Yeah, we will tune in. We'll tune into it. So yeah, it was just the captain's quick thinking.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
He just went into panic mode and thought,
yes,
how can I salvage this?
And also, knowing full well, this idiot's not going to know any Italian for fish. You know, so yeah. Oh, for Ken. So yeah, that was my one good line out of a whole 90 minutes of movie.
Whole movie.
Yeah,
that's worrying.
It's one good line, and it actually then leads into one of the worst lines I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So
it was short-lived.
Very short-lived. The rug was definitely pulled out from under my feet there on that one. Yeah. All right, where do you want to go? Do you want to go with your location?
Yep. So I thought the desert island. So they get to this desert island, and without any explanation, they just get there, and there's just like this hut with a bed in it. Yes. And like covers on the bed, and so they've got shelter, they've got a bed to sleep in.
This deserted island, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They've got plenty of fish to catch. They're really easy to catch. They've got everything they need, really. Like there's loads of wood for fire. There's a little wooden makeshift chair. There's cooking racks. There's candles later on. There's candles in the hut, isn't there? When they're like a romantic scene. It's
loads of candles.
Where the fucking candles come from?
And
there's
where have
booze.
they got the matches to light them?
Yeah, there's booze in there. They're drinking later on. There's bottles of booze. There's stuff to make fishing nets. It's just so much stuff.
I'm beginning to think this desert island is actually attached to the mainland. And they just didn't explore.
Be. Yeah, it must be, because how did all this stuff get there if nobody lives there? Because if somebody else washed up there a few years ago, where did they get all the stuff from to like make a hut and a bed, and like it's a proper bed, isn't it, with like duvet and stuff, like blankets and stuff.
And it's not like they broke their boat down and built that hut.
Yeah,
it was there.
Yeah,
it's purpose built.
I thought it was quite good because, as you said earlier, like it. Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to stay there long if there wasn't for all this convenient stuff that was just there. They wouldn't have survived. And yeah, they did have water. They literally had everything they needed.
Yeah.
So it was just all there at their convenience.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite good, because otherwise, I guess I like the fact they just didn't explain it at all. It was just like, just look, it's movie land. Just accept it. It's all here.
Yeah, I can understand that. Just accept it, because what instead we're going to do is focus on the story. The only thing I don't like is that there was no story to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it left us questioning, where did all this stuff come from?
Yeah.
We shouldn't have had the time to think about it.
No,
I know. Yeah. The Magic Shack was quite a thing, wasn't it?
It was.
What have you got next?
I've got one good scene and I've got a good prop.
All right, let's go. Should we go with your good prop? And then we can talk about
it's just
scenes.
a silly one. But when they were on the boat, they there was like a little hidden compartment in the boat, and they lifted it up, and there was a flare gun, which she shot, didn't she, at some point really badly?
Yes.
Did she shoot it through the boat and make a hole in the boat?
Into the dinghy, yeah.
Oh, into the dinghy.
Oh no, yeah.
Or was it the actual boat?
No, it was the boat, the dinghy that we're on. It wasn't a wooden dinghy.
Oh, it wasn't. So she shot it into that. But they lifted up this little compartment. There was a flare gun, and there was a pair of sunglasses that were like star shaped.
Oh yes.
But they did actually wear them.
Yeah.
So I just like the fact it was so random. So it's just like this random pair of like kids' sunglasses, because no adult's going to wear them. And then later on in the movie, later on in the movie, they're wearing them.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that was a really random prop just to have on the boat.
I think there was one bit where he was decidedly quite evil to Madonna's character, and then he just sat back and slid those glasses on as well. And it was just like, okay.
Something a kid would do, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it really was, actually. Right. I've got 2 good scenes.
Okay.
That's it. And you've got one good scene.
I've got one good scene.
Okay. So I'll talk about one of my scenes.
Okay.
And then we'll come to you, and then come to my last scene.
Yep.
Should we do that? Okay. So my first good scene is when they were adrift at sea on the dinghy.
Yeah.
Okay. Giuseppe, he's just kind of had like a penknife on the end of a stick.
Yeah.
And he's managed to just stab through this absolute little tiddler of a fish. Okay.
Yeah.
He pulls it into the boat, takes it off the spear, and he bites its head off, spits that into the water, and he's like offers it to Amber. He's like, here, you need to eat this.
Yeah.
Right. And so he hands it to her. She takes it, and she's like,
Yeah.
And she goes to take a little nibble, and she takes the barest, tiniest little bite, and she goes like, oh, that's horrible. And then she just throws it over the board into the water.
Yeah, waste it. He would have eaten that.
And he was like, no, what are you doing? Why did you do that? I could have eaten that. It was the best, I think, honestly, the best bit of the whole film. It was the best bit of acting from Madonna, and that's not saying much. All she was doing was just going, I don't like the taste of that, and then throwing something overboard.
I would have quite liked it if they'd have caught a fish and then just done the in-betweeners and just... So this is an English show, but there's a bit where there's like school kids, isn't it? Like they're in sixth form. So they're like, 17, 18?
Yeah.
And they're on like a trip, and they're on this boat, and this fish just like jumps onto the boat, and then Neil just looks at it, and they're like, what do we do? And he just punches it in the face. But I can't describe to you how funny it is, because you're not expecting him to do that. Of all the things.
It's just a real thunk.
Yeah, it's just like, what do I do? Panicked and just punched it in the face, and it's so funny. But I would have liked them to have caught a fish and just punched it in the face, just for the humour. But they didn't do that.
Although with this film, if they caught a fish, Giuseppe would just look at it as an excuse to punch her in the face.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he was quite a handy guy when it came to throwing out the old slaps to ladies, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What was your good scene?
So my good scene was the last scene.
Oh.
So they called him Pepe, didn't they?
Yes.
Giuseppe or Pepe. So he gets the ring back, like you just said, in the envelope, and he runs after the helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And they really tried to do something with this scene, but it just didn't come off.
Mm-hmm.
So there's sad music, and there's him running, it's kind of like silent, as in you don't hear him running or any of the like background noise. You just hear this sad music over the top, and then she's just crying in the helicopter. and it was just all so lame, but like wonderfully lame, because it was like in a good movie, this would have been such a powerful scene.
Yeah.
But it was just so cheesy, wasn't it? It was just like, and I can see they've really tried to do something, but it did not come off.
No, it really didn't. And I don't know. I don't know if it was Guy Ritchie trying to remain true to like 1970s kind of dramatic melodrama.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see the last scene of the original
and just to see.
movie.
Do you know what's really interesting? The guy that played Giuseppe is the son of the guy that played Giuseppe in the 1974 movie.
Yeah, you said that while we were watching it. Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah,
and I wonder if Lina Wertmüller, the director, left going, "What have you done to my movie?" What happens to the dynamics of a father and son if the father's watching a movie a remake of a movie that he was in, starring his son, that even the director thought, "This is dreadful. What have you done?" What does the father think? "Oh my God, son, what's going on here?
I know.
What have you done? This is my legacy."
Butchered it.
Yeah, you've butchered my legacy, son. That's it. You're out of the will. God damn you, Madonna.
Well, I blame Guy Ritchie more than Madonna, I think.
Well, yeah. He should have just put his foot down and said, "Madonna, is that what would you call?" I mean, Madonna is her name, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like,
I think that's her real name, isn't it?
I think it is. I think it is her real name. I honestly don't know. But like, would you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to look it up.
Madonna's
I'm pretty
husband,
sure it is her real name.
Would you turn around and go, "Hey, Madonna, hey, Mads, hey, Madge"?
Madge, yeah, I guess.
You know, I don't know. I find it weird calling her Madonna if I was married to her.
Madonna Louise Veronica Ciccone. Is it Ciccone or Ciccone?
Ciccone, I think.
Ciccone.
Yeah,
that's her real name.
Yeah.
Never heard of another Madonna though.
No.
Apart from in the Beatles song, Lady Madonna.
Oh yeah, Lady Madonna. Yeah. Please give her a full title.
Where is it? What country does it originate from? The name Madonna.
I imagine Italy.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's Italy because the Madonna is
Italian.
the Virgin
Originates
Mary.
from the Italian Madonna, M-A space Donna, meaning my lady or my mistress.
Oh right, okay. So the Virgin Madonna, like it'd be the.
It's a term of respect historically used to refer to the Virgin Mary. Mm-hmm. The name itself has roots in Latin, where domina meant mistress or lady.
Oh.
So it literally means my lady.
Oh. Milady.
Yep.
Oh God. Oh no. Oh. That just makes it all feel wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, actually, it means milady. Oh. That just made me feel dirty inside. I have one more good scene, and then I've got nothing more good about this film.
Okay.
So again, this is at the beginning of the film, and we've had Amber being completely awful, and then all of a sudden, Giuseppe they're having dinner on the ship, on the boat that they're on, out on the deck, or it might be breakfast or something, and Amber's having a right go at Giuseppe, and then Giuseppe's just like, "Why don't you shut your mouth?" And he has a right go at her, and he ends up even getting her food and pouring it over her. And then I was like, "Oh no, wait, he's dreaming, isn't he?"
Yeah,
he's dreaming. And he had this whole dream sequence of just getting his revenge on her.
Which I think you would daydream about.
Yeah.
Your revenge with somebody like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I liked that. I liked that we got that revenge sort of at that point. What I didn't like was the revenge that they ultimately got on her. But at that point, it was very much, he can't do it in real life. He would be fired, etc. It'd be the end of his time working on that boat, blah, blah, blah. And it was just nice to see her get her comeuppance, because Madonna has this face of disgust that she pulls.
Yes. For
the first 45 minutes of this movie. And she's got no other face of disgust that she pulls.
Well, she does make a weird face when she's on the exercise bike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's really bizarre. So she's got this exercise bike on the boat and she's making the weirdest, most screwed up face. And I just don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, it was just Madonna. Look down your nose at someone. Okay, now look annoyed at someone. It's the same face. It's the only face I can do.
It's literally my face, and that's it.
That's it. It's like the blue. It's like Blue Steel.
Yeah,
Magnum. It's Madonna's Magnum.
Yeah. So, how would you improve this movie?
Oh, let me count the ways.
I know what I would do.
I'd recast Madonna entirely.
Yeah.
I'd have someone sit down and look at the script and go, right, what worked in 1974 does not work now. So let's actually make a film that purports to be about classism, about all sorts of isms and sexism, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And let's actually write a film that does these topics justice.
Yeah.
And actually explore the themes that they're trying to explore rather than just smashing people over the head with, well, when capitalism is in power, it's bad, but when communism is in power, it's bad. And when a woman's got the power, it's bad for men. And when a man's in power, it's bad for women, which we know to be true anyway. But make it interesting.
Yeah.
Make the film do something, I don't know, that turns society, the society that we live in, on its head to make us question our thoughts and beliefs in the structures that we currently have. But it doesn't do that because it's just like, oh, it
doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything because ultimately it just goes, well, here's a guy who's a communist and, oh, he's got the power now and, oh, now he's become a dictator effectively. And he's forcing himself on the woman who ultimately is going to fall madly in love with him.
Yeah.
And it just didn't have any of the right message. So
yeah, I was just going to say, give it a storyline.
Yeah. That too.
That's a really simple way of saying what you just said, but
that too.
There was just no real storyline. It was so basic, like you said in the beginning. It was so kind of like, okay, they're on a boat, they get deserted. They get off the desert island. They go back to their lives.
Yeah.
At the end. There was no message.
Yeah.
Or if there was, it did not come across.
Have they learnt anything about themselves?
No. Well, it didn't explain if they did it?
Yeah. And in different hands, I think a film like that could be interesting as well.
Yeah.
Something just happens and then they walk away from it, not everything has to be a lesson. And that could be an interesting film.
Everything has to be a lesson, but a film needs a storyline. And we say this time and time again on this podcast, but there's so many movies are lacking a real storyline.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weak. There's just nothing to it. That, if we weren't watching it for the podcast, I would have switched it off after about 10 minutes.
Easily.
Maybe not even that.
There was one bit as well where a scene started, and I won't say it because I've actually got it down as I've got it down as a bad line, but a scene started and somebody said something and it could so easily have been a scene in a Neil Breen movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this is internationally acclaimed director Guy Ritchie.
I know.
And this is where I suddenly go, oh, wait a second.
Is he one of those people, though, that everyone just kind of goes, oh, he's great? Or at the time, not now, but at the time they did. I don't know what he's done recently, if he's done anything
at all. The Gentleman.
Oh, okay.
He's done that recently.
But is he just somebody who is a bit of a one-trick pony, isn't he? Let's face it, with Snatch and Lock, Stock and all of that. Yeah. They're all very similar. Gentleman, again, is a similar thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Was he very hyped up at the time that he sort of 100%. Was famous? And he's not actually that amazing.
No.
He just caught an audience with a couple of movies that, people liked it.
Like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, kind of. And it's all very the same, isn't it? It's not... There's no... diversity there. It's just kind of like, I'm going to do this movie and then I'm going to do a very similar movie because that one was popular.
And I think the measure of someone like that is when they then diversify into doing something like this
and it doesn't work
and they flounder. It's like he also did that King Arthur with Charlie Hunnam, I think.
I've not seen that.
Oh, you're not missing much.
No,
it's awful. It's like it's trying to lock, stock and two smoking barrels, the Legend of King Arthur.
Oh no.
And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I think it exposes that kind of weakness. And don't get me wrong, I think if your strength is something specific, then there's no shame in just doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But also there's no shame if you do go off to try something different and it doesn't work. Fine, it doesn't work. But
yeah.
I think when it's your wife's vanity project.
Yeah.
Plus also, who looks at a movie? Who looks at a movie where a woman ends up being the slave plaything of another man and goes, that's the story I want to retell, but not do anything, but not to do anything interesting with it.
Yeah.
Just basically remake.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, so when was this movie released? Early 2000s. So this is a 70s movie.
Yeah.
It should have had some updated storyline, I think.
I mean, and the difference, I think, even from 2002 to 1974, there was a major shift in male and female relationships since that time. And I think it's taken a much further shift again as well to even now. But I didn't, like I say, I've not seen the 1974 version, but I can't imagine it's very much different. I don't think
I can't imagine it's worse.
I can't imagine it's worse. I don't think they have attempted to do anything different. No,
I don't think they have.
No.
So, what are you going to score it?
I'm going to score this film a 0 out of 5. It's getting a 0. I know I've had some good bits. But I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel at sea here.
Yeah.
For those good bits.
I was kind of thinking, should I give it 0.5? But then I was thinking, what am I giving it 0.5 for?
Yeah.
I don't.
The Magic Shack, maybe.
Yeah, even the things that I've said are good. It's very. I'm kind of clutching at straws with them.
Yeah. The fact that there's only one good line in a movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know we probably only picked out one good line for other movies, but
yeah. But there was other good parts, though, not just the lines.
I could have also just not written that down and not have felt bad about leaving a good line out.
Yeah. Okay, so we're both giving it 0 out of 5.
Yeah, 0.
So we don't recommend you to go. This is one of the ones that we've watched so that you don't have to.
Yeah, 100% it
Definitely.
is. And to be honest, I think we're one of the only people in the world that have watched it.
Yeah, there's two people have downloaded this movie and it's us.
Technically one, because we watched it together.
Yeah.
Just think, Guy Ritchie will get a residual check through for like 1 penny and go, swept away. Did I direct that? What's swept away?
That's so weird because that is what happens, isn't it, with certain projects? Like I think it was Joe Lycett said he'd done a job. It was an advert or something for an American company. And he said, I literally get a check for like a penny come through every so often. Yeah. It's like, it's just so bizarre.
How mad is that?
What's the point?
It is absolutely mad, isn't it? Just a penny.
Just in
you know royalties. What? Save it up and send it to me.
And send it to me yearly if it's that little, or like 2 yearly or whatever. Until it's at least making pounds.
The admin to send me that check.
I know. The money it costs to send the check must be more than the check's worth.
The amount of energy to charge my phone for me to take a photograph of that check to pay it into my bank account.
I know, it's not worth it.
It's not worth a penny.
Well, who's paying in a penny check? They're not, are they?
No. I would at a principal.
You would because you're Scottish.
Come on. What? Yeah, so, and what's very interesting, what we're going to do, we're going to go away and we're going to record the flip side.
Yes.
Now, what's very interesting for you listening right now, dear listeners, you wonderful, beautiful people that you are, the flip side episode, this is the first episode of the season.
Yes.
So this one is actually going to be available for free members and our paying members on the Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've been umming and ahhing about joining us on the Patreon to get your hands on over 50 bonus episodes, you will be able to try this episode and all the previous first episodes of all of our previous seasons for free. So that's actually 10 free episodes at the moment, which is not bad.
That's good.
Not
good
bad
value.
at all. We have got a fair few free members on there. Absolutely, come and check us out. You'll get this episode every 2.5 months kind of thing.
Yeah.
because we release fortnightly. So this one will be free. So come along and listen to it. www.patreon.com/ICBadMovies. Sign up for free. If you like it, $3 a month will get you full access to all of our previous Flipsides. And thank you very much, everyone. We will see you there and catch you on
the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.